Oh look, another Amar ship that Benzi's covering, once again still with the bone and gold, still using lasers, but this time around it's a Tech 3 cruiser, so you can all back off and understand I love Tech 3 cruisers, and therefore even one that uses lasers and is Amarian is still going to be in my hangar and I'm still going to have some fun with it. Besides that, as much as I don't always enjoy the ships that I'm flying to showcase, you guys want to see it, I will therefore show it, and here we have the Tech 3 strategic cruiser for the Amar Empire, the Legion, but this time around we're going to be looking at it using energy turrets rather than HAMS, and this does have some advantages, it does have some disadvantages. It is a different ship. Is it viable? Well, I guess you're gonna have to check out the video with me and find out, aren't you? Ahoy there folks, I'm Captain Benzi and welcome back to another video for EVE Online. In this video we're going to be taking another look at one of the Tech 3 strategic cruisers, and I do mean another look. We've already covered the Legion, which is the Amar Empire Tech 3 strategic cruiser using heavy assault missiles, but this time around we're going to be going nice and pure Amarian with energy turrets, lasers, big shooty boom boom lights. Yeah, basically we're doing the disco Legion this time around. I prefer launching rockets at things personally, missiles, anything that explodes, but hey, if you guys want to shine torches on things, that's up to you. Anyway, if you do enjoy this video, let me know, hit like on it, subscribe to the channel for all things EVE Online, and if you want to go the extra mile to help support this channel and content like this, you can do so by heading across to my Patreon page, my PayPal tip jar, or my Redbubble merchandise store. If you're fairly new to EVE Online and looking to get into the game, I have a referral code linked in the description. You can get 1 million free skill points even if you already have an account. And of course, Catskull is always recruiting if you're looking for some friends to fly with in New Eden. Other than that then folks, let's jump right into talking about the Amar Empire's Tech 3 strategic cruiser, the Legion. Now at this point in a video, I normally go through the ship itself and look at its stats, but quite frankly, I've already done that with the HAM Legion. So if you're interested in understanding how the Legion works, what its skills do and all that kind of thing, do check out that video first. I've also done a video on Tech 3 strategic cruisers in general to talk about how they operate and what kind of skills you should be going for to use them. But yeah, ultimately, we're going to be focusing just on the fit here today. This is a great ship if you've been training into energy weapons on the way upwards. Perhaps you were flying some of the frigates early on, you moved in something like a Confessor for your destroyer. Perhaps you've been flying something like, I don't know, an Omen or a Mala in previous content. You've perhaps skilled into the Harbinger because you heard that was good for C2 content. You're now looking for something for C3 content. Well, that's going to be the Legion. The massive downside to this bad boy though is the price tag on this. For some reason, the Legions are stupidly expensive to get up and running compared to the other Tech 3 cruisers. They are still very popular for PvP, so I suppose there's a bit of supply and demand going on there. I don't really know, but hey, we're going to talk about the fit and showcase this in action. So it's an energy turret Legion, right? That means we need capacitor stability out the backside, because our weapons are using capacitor as well, which on the HAM Legion, they're not. Anyway, let's have a look at the subsystems we're going to be using. First of all then, let's talk about the offensive subsystem. Because we want to be using the energy turret ones, there's only one we can go for. This is the liquid crystal Magnifiers. Ultimately, we are looking at Amar offensive subsystems giving us a 10% reduction in medium energy turret activation cost, very nice, a 10% bonus to medium energy turret damage, very nice, and a 10% bonus to medium energy turret optimal range. Better range, better damage, lower cap usage. 50% at full training. I do strongly recommend getting all of the subsystems to 5 before undocking any of the Tech 3 strategic cruisers. Ultimately, you don't necessarily need the racial strategic cruiser skill at 5. It's nice to have because it helps with overheating and things, but it's the subsystems you need at 5 first, by a long shot. Now, this particular subsystem also gives us a roll bonus, 25% reduction in the power grid and CPU fitting costs of medium energy turrets. Very nice. 7 high slots, of which 6 are turret hardpoints, 400 power grid, 90 CPU, and 100 gigajoules additional capacitor capacity. Very nice. This is all designed around basically just having medium energy turrets. Nothing special, nothing to think about there. We want to be using medium energy turrets, therefore we need the medium energy turret subsystem. This then means, though, we have to make some allowances with the others. So first of all, core subsystems then. We're using the Legion core Augmented Antimatter Reactor. Why am I doing this? Because it's a 5% bonus per level of AMAR core systems, 25% bonus at full training to capacitor capacity, with a 3% or 15% at full training resistance to energy warfare. Oh goody, that means all those newts that they're doing actually drain less, and we've got a bigger capacitor to go with it. Very, very important. Nice that this gives us 3 low slots, 1 mid slot, bit more capacitor capacity in there, and a 20% bonus to ship power output. All very nice, but it's very much this capacitor capacity and energy warfare resistance that we need that subsystem for. What about the defensive? Yeah, this should be no surprise to anyone who knows my channel, Covert Reconfiguration, because this gives us the 100% reduction to Cloaking devices CPU requirement. They don't take any CPU off your ship anymore. Awesome. Gives us the ability to fit Covert Ops Cloaking devices, which is vital to me. I love Covert Ops Cloaking devices. If I can put a Covert Ops Cloak on a ship, I will do so. If a ship can use a Covert Ops Cloak, I will fly it. This Legion, no difference. It's what I'm going to do. Now, this does also give us the ability to fit a Covert Sinusoidal Field Generator. We don't really care about that. 10-point bonus to Relic and Data Analyzer Virus Strength. Very nice. If we're going to go scanning, I don't think this has the mid slots to do the whole thing like I was showcasing with the Tengu before. Certainly, if you carry a mobile depot around with you and have like a Zoigma, then yeah, sure, go for it. Why not? But it feels like a kind of mishmash fit at that point, and I don't like crossing. But again, otherwise, nice, decent bonuses here. It should be noted this does increase your signature radius by 5 meters, which is not great, but you know, it is what it is. Bit of extra cargo capacity in there as well, plus a load more capacitor. We like that. Anyway, AMAR defensive subsystems. This gives us a 10% or 50% bonus to core and combat scanner probe strength. Helps us scan down wormholes a little bit easier if we get trapped in one. 7.5% bonus to armor repairer effectiveness. That's 37.5 at full training. It's not as big as the other subsystems, but it's still a nice thing to have, and it's enough for what we need. And a 7.5% bonus to the benefits of overheating armor repairers. You'll see later that actually helps keep me alive. Very, very powerful ability. Finally, for the subsystems then, we have, of course, our propulsion subsystem, Wake Limiter. 10% bonus to Afterburner, velocity bonus, and 10% reduction in micro warp drive signature radius penalty. Afterburner is what we care about, 50% additional Afterburner velocity bonus. Very, very nice. Plus 1 mid slot, plus 1 low slot. You see, despite all of that, we still only have 3 mid slots, which is just awful, but it is what it is. We have to make do with that. High slots though, we have Heavy Pulse Laser 2s, I'm running Conflagration and I'm running Scorch. Ultimately, these are 2 very powerful crystals. They're worth getting the Heavy Pulse Laser 2s just for those crystals. Yeah, okay, they degrade, as you can see here, minus it and 41% damage, which the Tech 1s don't, but the benefits massively outweigh the cons, and I do strongly suggest not just going with some kind of mid-grade on the high slots here. Get the Tech 2s. Really get the Tech 2s. They are just so much more powerful. Here you can see Conflagration optimal to 11 kilometers. We are getting 713 DPS at 11 kilometers range. That is nice, that is good, we are happy with that, and that's with me not using any laser implants. That's with me only having sort of 4 in most of the skills. If you're more dedicated to flying lasers, you probably can get more out of this than I can. But that's the Conflagration. Of course, we do also have Scorch, which gives us significantly longer range and allows us to hit the ships whilst we're approaching them, or those blooming upholders that like to orbit at 30 k's away. Otherwise, high slots are, of course, the Covert Ops Cloaking device and a Sisters Expanded probe launcher, because I want to be able to use the combat probes as well from time to time. But yeah, we may as well. Mid slots are basically an Afterburner to help us move, Republic Fleet large cap battery in order to get that capacity a bit more stable, and a Shadow Serpentis Stasis Webifier just to help pin targets in place. The problem with the Ham Legion was that I couldn't get any form of application booster in there. No target painter, no Webifier, that kind of thing. But this one you can, and whether you go for the Stasis Webifier or a target painter or a tracking computer is ultimately up to you, and there are going to be some people who prefer one or the other. For me, I prefer the webs because it's only anything within 14k that I really care about. I get good enough range, otherwise the tracking computer and skills aren't overly important for me. Stasis Web gets the job done. For the low slots then, we have a whopping 3 heat sinks to push up that damage, 2 of which are True Sansha. Could make the third one a True Sansha as well. You wonder why I got the 1 billion-isk bling price here. That's why, that's pushing up our DPS there. Resistances then from a Multispectrum Energized Membrane 2 of those, just to help push everything up here. And of course then an armor repair, a medium C-type Corpum, just to give us their decent amount of 849 HP repaired every 7.7. Remember, the bonuses we have also mean that this, if overheated, goes absolutely bonkers, 915 HP every 6 seconds. Yeah, we like that. We like that a lot. And ultimately, you can see, very, very cap stable for the most part here, as long as we're not running the armor repair. If we're running the armor repair, that chews us a little bit, but even then, if we were then to turn the web off, sorry, didn't mean to turn the battery off, we get even more cap stable. So there are different things that we can be doing here and, you know, not worrying about. It's all nice and easy there. For the rigs, we are running medium Nanobot Accelerator 2, medium auxiliary Nano Pump 2, and medium auxiliary Nano Pump 1. Can't get 2 of those in the same because we don't have enough, I want to say cohesion, it's calibration. We don't have enough calibration to fit 2 medium auxiliary Nano Pump 2s, so it's a 2 and a 1. Just to cram that in there. This helps with the armor repairer, just repairing any damage we do take. Unlike the Ham Legion, we don't need to worry about drones. It is just literally fly around, use your lasers, swapping between Scorch and Conflagration, but don't take my word for it, let's show it in action. So it's the usual setup for this. Create a safe point in the system that we're going to be ratting, so we've got somewhere we can jump out to later. Pick your site, warp in, drop the mobile tractor unit, bookmark it. Straight away, that should be everything all done. Obviously, remembering, bookmark the freaking exit to the wormhole as well, but if you've got a safe, even that isn't so much of a problem. Cool, so we're in the site. I've come in cloaked. For whatever reason, I was cloaked in the safe. We're going to launch for self with the mobile tractor unit, start locking onto targets, obviously once the cloak allows us to. There we go. We're going to bookmark the MTU, so we've got a nice point to come back to later. I can also put that in a shared bookmark folder so I can salvage it on my ult. Nice and easy. Then we're just going to start shooting things. Ultimately, you've seen me run C3s at this point over and over again. Fortification Frontier Stronghold is the C3 that I like to showcase because it's a nice straightforward one to do, and by showcasing it with all of the different T3 cruisers and that, you can see a nice comparison side by side to how they handle it. Now, the nice thing about this particular version of the T3C as well as the Legion is that we do have application in the form of a web, something we don't normally have on the HAM Legion that I've been running. But again, it's now just a case of learning your different types of ammunition. When an enemy's up close and personal like this, web it, hit it with Conflagration. If it's further away, we're going to shoot it with, not Aurora, Scorch, sorry. Problem with me flying so many different types of vessels all the time is I do forget some of the names, and I don't fly them perfectly. Of course I don't, but the point is, if I can show me not flying it perfectly and still doing the content, then you guys can do even better, right? If you decide that Laser Legion is what you want to do, you're going to know those crystal types better than I am. You're going to know how to pilot it better than I am. I'm just here to get you started. I'm here to open the door and go, this is how you can do it. You're going to be better at this than I am. I'm not trying to be the best, I'm trying to show you how you can have fun. Anyway, so, Awakened Defenders, we've got 2 of those, and Emergent Upholders, I think they were, Emergent Defenders, can't remember, whatever. Kill the Emergents first, they are frigates, they are not the triggers. The Awakened Defenders are the triggers here. Killing these will spawn wave number 2. So it's just swapping between your Scorch and Conflagration as you need. Obviously, if they're close, you want the Conflagration to melt through them, do high amounts of damage with decent tracking. If they're further away, you want the Scorch so that you can just blap them from range. And that's going to be important once we hit Wave 2. So here goes that second Awakened Defender. Wave 2 has spawned. This is two more Defenders and 2 Upholders. Now the Defenders are just damage cruisers. They're still not a big problem for us. The Upholders, however, these are slightly scarier. They have powerful newts and they have webs. So that you want to kill both of those, right? Well, yeah, you do, but you can't, because if you kill the second Awakened Upholder, you spawn in the final wave, and that's how you get killed in this. So don't do that. Kill one of the Awakened Upholders as quickly as possible. That way you go from having 2 newts and 2 webs to only having 1 newt and 1 web, which is much more manageable. You can see there that first Awakened Upholder goes down pretty quick. The damage that the Laser Legion kicks out is actually quite surprising, and it applies it so well. But now as we get closer to this Awakened Defender, we swap back to the Conflagration. We're going to start to melt through that. Cool thing about Sleepers as well is that you don't have to worry about damage types. They have equal resists to everything. So the fact that all energy turrets, all lasers, are going to be doing thermal and electromagnetic, normally that can be a problem when ratting in K-space because rats have different resistances, right? Not so out here. It's just the DPS that matters. DPS and application. The actual damage type don't matter because Sleepers are omni-resists. Anyway, again, we're going to kill the 2 Awakened Defenders, then we're going to go back to that second Upholder and spawn in the 3rd wave. Things do get a little bit spicy there, so we're going to skip ahead and take a look at that. Awakened Upholder down, wave 3 in. Spawns in at a bit of a range here, and it does have a battleship that can do some very nasty damage. We want to be kind of approaching that battleship at an angle so that we can sig tank and reduce the amount of damage it's dealing to us. Also, it is on the other side of the blooming construction in the center there. That is not great. That is not ideal positioning. This is not what we want. I can't get in at the angle I directly want. I'm going to have to come in slightly sideways from the other side, and hopefully don't, interact with the structure here. Don't crash into that because that's going to deal massive damage. You can see I'm taking a lot of damage at this point. I can't hit the Upholder, which is going to be muting me at this point and really hurting my capacitor, so I'm going to start overheating. We're going to start overheating the armor repairer to just increase the amount of armor reps we're getting. I'm also considering overheating the Afterburner. Could be useful. It's just that I've come a little bit too far away from where these things warp in, and this sometimes happens. You don't always, you can fly pretty well, and stuff like this still happens. You just got to learn to handle it. And there we are. Now that I'm a little bit further away from some of those, and now we've got less, the web has come off. Suddenly, I'm flying faster. That reduces the damage I'm taking. The armor is still, doing its thing. We're still just about holding it together with the overheated armor rep. But we should start to be getting a bit higher now, which is nice. And with the Awakened Defender about to die, that's less DPS coming in our way. I'm in range of the Awakened Upholder. That might be the target I now go for. I'm also closing in on the Sleepless Upholder, which means we can start to orbit that a little bit tighter so that it struggles to hit us. Looks like I'm going for the Preserver first. It does have remote reps, which can be awkward. It means you're trying to shoot something while it's repairing it. But as I'm doing this, I'm kind of looking at things going, no, that Upholder needs to die. That Upholder needs to die, so that's what we're going to do. You can see I've turned off the overheat on the armor rep at this point in time as well. I don't need it anymore. I've burnt a lot of armor rep there. I'm definitely going to need some nanite paste on that later. But I need to keep the armor rep running, just not overheated anymore. We've done the job of overheating. We survived with no damage into hull. That's important because everything else reps and just heals itself nicely. So we need to kill that Upholder to get rid of that second web and that newt. As I said, most of this was just a bit of a bad luck on where that spawn was, and just being a bit unfortunately out of position. It happens sometimes. You can deal with it, is the point I'm trying to showcase here. But anyway, with the Awakened Upholder now dead, I was about to say pretty much now dead, we can start going after the other ships, and you'll see that this now just becomes nice and straightforward. So let's skip ahead again. Sleepless Upholder goes down. That is the end of this combat site. Nice and straightforward. You can see I'm still on decent capacitor. We've got, full armor and full hull. Beautiful explosion just to finish things off there. This is where you warp to your safe point or a wormhole or something. I'm just warping to a wormhole because I'm cloaked. Because slow boating all the way to your MTU is how you get jumped. At this point, I also want to repair the armor rep there with some nanite paste just in case I need it again. It's a good time to do it whilst you're not in combat and everything else is going on, while I'm looting and all of that. Obviously can't do it while cloaked though, so. Anyway, we warp to site C4 wormhole there. Ooh, C5, sorry. C5, nice. So we're going to hit repair on the armor rep there. Cool. And now we are going to warp back to the MTU in order to loot it. I do strongly recommend the warp out, warp back in approach, because it means you are less likely to be nabbed whilst slow boating to your MTU. If you see someone on D-scan, you can kind of do what you need to there. You should really warp in at, say, 10 or 20, but I kind of run the opinion that if I'm going to be, if I'm going to warp into the mobile tractor unit, so someone's going to be cloaked right now knowing I'm coming back, right? So there's no point me being cloaked. There's no point me being cloaked because I'm going to warp in and immediately decloak on the MTU anyway so that I can loot it, scoop it, and run. They know I'm coming back, so I may as well just get in and get out as quickly as possible. Nice and easy, but I'm watching D-scan, I'm watching my overview, and things are pretty good. Anyway, 41,100,000 ISK for that site. Nice and easy, everything scooped. We can now take the journey home. Let me know what you think of this one, guys. Drop some comments in the comment section down below. Come join me on Discord. I will be doing a giveaway very soon. Otherwise, thank you for watching, happy sailing, and see you in New Eden.